Good morning, students. Now today we will continue the same chapter, theory of supply, and in this chapter today we will start the next topic, that is the law of supply. Now first of all, understand what is the law of supply. Yesterday we have discussed about the determinants or the factors of the supply. After that, now let's discuss law of supply. States that there is a direct relationship. Direct relationship means positive relationship between the price and the quantity. Direct or the positive relationship between the price and the quantity means if price increases, quantity increases; if price decreases, quantity decreases. So the law of supply states that there is a direct relationship between the price and quantity supplied of a commodity when other things being equal. Now what are these other things being equal? The factors, the determinants which we have discussed already. That means price of the related goods, technology, government policies, future expectation, all these things will be constant. Then there will be a direct relationship between the price and the quantity. So in other words, we can say the law of supply is if other things being equal or constant, the quantity supplied of a commodity is directly related to the price of the commodity. Here is the quantity supplied and here is the price. So supply is the function of price of X commodity. So here in the diagram also you can see the supply curve. You can see on the x-axis quantity is there and on the y-axis there is a price. Now if the initial price is P, the initial quantity is Q only. If the price increases from P to P1, the quantity also increases from Q to Q1. Similarly, if the price reduces from P to P2, so quantity will also decrease from Q to Q2. And if you will join these points, you will get the supply curve which is positively sloped, which is upward sloping from left to right. You can see if price increases, quantity increases; if price decreases, quantity also decreases. So there is a direct relationship between the price and the quantity supplied. Now, the next topic is the exceptions of the law of supply. Exceptional cases of the law of supply, that means our law of supply indicates that there is a direct relationship between the price and the quantity. And exceptional cases of the law of supply, it indicates that there is no indirect relationship between the price and quantity. That means in all these cases the law of supply does not operate. That means price and quantity will not go in the same direction. If price increases, quantity decreases; if price decreases, quantity increases. Whereas our law of supply says that there is a direct relationship between the price and quantity. It means if price increases, quantity increases; if price decreases, quantity decreases. So now let's start the exceptional cases of the law of supply in which the supply shape is not positively sloped, that is the negatively sloped. First of all is the agricultural products. Agricultural products, that means the law of supply does not apply to the agricultural products because the supply of which is governed by the natural factors. That means when due to natural calamity the production of wheat is less than its supply, so we will not increase even if its price increases also. That means we cannot increase. If price increases, the quantity supplied cannot be increased because it is totally dependent upon the monsoon. Now second one is the future expectation. Yes, future expectation means if the producer expects higher price of the commodity in future, then he would sell lesser amount of the goods even at a higher prices in the present. So in this way, future expectations, in this case also the law of supply does not operate. Third one is the perishable goods. Perishable goods, that means the seller may be willing to sell more units of the perishable goods although their price may be falling. Now what are the perishable goods? Just like vegetables, fruits, dairy products. So that means these products will not be useful after 1 or the 2 days. So at last the producer has to sell the more quantity at the less prices. So that is why the law of supply does not work in the perishable goods case also. Now the fourth case is the sale of old stock. Old stock, that means when a firm wants to sell its old stock, then it sells more goods at the reduced prices because the motive behind such a sale is to clear the old stock only, because now the fashion is changed, technology is changed, customers taste and preferences change, so automatically the producer wants to clear the old stock so that he can bring the new stock. So in order to clear the old stock from his godowns or from the stock, he puts all the old stock on the sale, so at the less prices also he wants to sell the more quantity. Now fifth one, status symbol products. Status symbol product, that means by which the consumer wants to show its false prestige. Okay, that means supply of the goods which is related to the status or related with the prestige, living standard, that will remain limited if their price rises. And the last one is the artistic goods. Artistic goods, just like the paintings, crafts, or maybe our antique items, all such things. So that means the law of supply does not operate in case of the high quality artistic goods. That means in the status symbol products or in the artistic goods, less quantity is purchased at the higher prices. So these are the cases in which the law of supply does not operate. That means in these cases the supply curve is negatively sloped. That means there is a negative relationship between or maybe indirect relationship between the price and the quantity supplied. Now the next topic which we are going today, that is change in quantity supplied and change in supply. The same topic we have already done in the demand chapter also. Now first of all, you can see the difference between both the diagrams. In the first diagram you can see that price is changeable from P to P1 and then it decreases from P to P2, and quantity also increases and decreases. Whereas in the second diagram you can see that the price remain constant and the supply increases and decreases, quantity increases and decreases. So the first difference between the change in quantity supplied and change in supply is that, first of all, understand change in quantity supplied. Change in quantity supplied refers to increase or decrease in supply due to changes in the increase and decrease of its price. That means in the quantity supplied, other factors are constant and only the price is changeable. What are the other factors? Price of related goods, future expectations, government policy, technology, number of the firms, everything is constant. Only price is changeable, and due to the changes in the price, the quantity supplied increases and decreases. That's why the supply increases and decreases. Now, where is in the change in supply? In change in supply, that means it refers to increase or decrease in supply of a commodity in response to change in other factors of supply other than the price of the same commodity. Here you can see that the price is constant and the other factors are changeable. Now what are the other factors or the determinants? Price of related goods is changeable, government policy is changeable, state of technology is changeable, number of firms are changeable. So that means change in supply, that means shifts in the supply you can see when there are the changes in the other factors, but price remains same. Whereas change in quantity supplied, always you can see when the price is changeable and the other factors are constant. That means price of related goods, number of firms, future expectation, nothing is going to affect to the change in quantity supplied. Only due to the other factors there will be a complete shift. So this is the first difference. Now the second difference you can see here, there is only one supply curve. There is only one supply curve. That means initially if the price is OP, so on that time quantity was OQ. If price increases from OP to OP1, so you can see the quantity also increases from OQ to OQ1. So the point also expands from A to B. So that means there is an expansion of a supply. Similarly, if OP is the initial price and the price decreases from OP to OP2, you can see the quantity also decreases from OQ to OQ2. So here also you can see that from A point changes will be there to C point. That means there is a contraction of a supply. So the one conclusion is come out from this diagram that there is a movement along the same supply curve. That means expansion on the same curve and contraction is also you can see on the same curve. The second difference is that in the change in quantity supplied, there is a movement along the same supply curve. You can see only the one supply curve, this SS. Whereas in change in supply, when the other factors are changeable, you can see that if the initial supply curve is SS and if there are the favorable changes in the other factors, so supply curve will shift rightward and you can say increase in supply. So the whole new curve you can see, that means it shifts from SS to S1, S1. Similarly, if there is an unfavorable change, so supply curve will shift backward or maybe you can say leftward. So the SS curve shifts leftward and it becomes S2, S2. So you can see decrease in the supply. So that means here there is no movement along the same supply curve. There is a shift in the supply curve from SS to S1, S1. That means increase in supply, whereas from SS to S2, S2, that is the decrease in supply. And the third difference, it is of two types. First is expansion in supply, second one is contraction in supply. Expansion in supply, that means when the quantity supplied increases, and contraction in supply, that means when price decreases, quantity supplied decreases. A change in supply is also, it has two types. First, when the price remain constant and other factors are favorable, so supply curve shifts rightward, so that is called increase in supply. And if there is an unfavorable changes, so supply curve will shift leftward, that means from SS to S2, S2, and that is known as decrease in supply. So these are the three basic difference in between change in quantity supplied and change in supply.